My grandpa had a store up on 4th South and 8th East. And when the state changed the road, they moved it across the road. And my father took that old store, and next to that, he built a cinder block building with a basement. And so we lived in a combination store and basement, and it had a cook stove in the kitchen dining room combination, and the heat from that stove heated that part of the house, and then the other part had a coal stove, and that's the only heat that was provided in those two buildings. We slept downstairs under lots of quilts because it was cold. And my brother Wade and I, and we're just 1 grade apart. And so we would do a lot of things together, and we would come up and bring our clothes up and dress on the oven door because it was the place that was warm. And that house had one water faucet, a cold water faucet. And so when we would have a bath, Mom would heat up water on the stove in a kettle and pour that in the bath water to make it warm. And our bathtub was a tin tub that we sat in the middle of that kitchen floor, and that's where everybody had a bath. And I enjoyed washing my father's back. He couldn't reach it, so and he would ask me, and I considered it a privilege. The very earliest memory that I have in my life, and I must have been about 2 or 3 at that time, and it was in our backyard, and between the house and the outhouse. In the first house we lived in, we had a 2-hole outhouse. And between those two, there were weeds. And so somebody had dug a hole, and my feet were in the bottom of the hole. And that was my earliest memory, was sitting out there on the side of that hole and with my feet down in the hole. And that's all there is, except at that time we had a very small lawn up by the house, and in the back and every place else there were just weeds growing. Gumweed is one of the things that grows in Utah without much rain. At that time we lived on 3 acres, and that included pig pen, chicken coop, milking barn,